Global Space Program, New Sunrise. Bit of a dark evening, but we've got quite a bit of work to get done, because if we hop to one of our satellites, or if we just hop into the tracking station here, we can see that I have, per your voting, switched over to the easy mode variation of our Keyframe layouts, so we do now have Keyframe directly underneath Kerbal Space Center, as well as a large portion of the actual areas around it. So from that, we then need to actually make mining equipment. I know a lot of you wanted to see me start doing SSTOs and stuff, but I actually need to put something down, and that's actually an interesting thing to investigate here. And yep, that's shown up now. I need to put something down next to the runway and whatnot to actually acquire the Keyframe. So I figured I'd do a bit of building for that, making a large rover for that. My first attempt to make such a craft was... let's see if I can find him. There we are, K-Miner 1. Now, there's a couple of these ones that are just sort of... yeah, there we are. There's a couple of these that are sort of scattered on my test save. Just most of them broken down next to the runway, because this thing is really unstable, and it's really slow, and it's really bulky. But when it gets there, it does a pretty good job. One thing I did work out is that these external mounts take up, let's see if that is, 24 units per second of power, and the Gigantor arrays produce 18. So this actually doesn't have enough Gigantor arrays to support 4 simultaneously working external drilling platforms here. And also it then kind of broke and it was really slow and all sorts. So to combat that, I'm going to be building a new one. I'm going to be focusing on more compartmentalization. So I've got two things, the converter and the miner. Now the converter is fairly straightforward and is what it says. It is the main power generator for this kind of system, and everything is going to be hooked together by these Kerbal Assembly Attachment System, sorry. Little docks, so you can see it's got a few winches on the side to attach to other things. And at the center here, it has a medium converter unit. It could easily power a heavy converter unit, but the heavy converter unit is huge by comparison. I'm trying to keep these really small. So the idea is, from this point at the top, it hooks onto the main rover, it then lowers its landing legs, gets plopped off where it needs to be, extends its panels, and then gets hooked up by a Kerbal to the miners. So it's then providing power for everything. Which then means we can hop over to the miners. Mostly the converter micro, as I mentioned, is just a power creator, but if we actually need to refuel something, we can use the converter unit. So very handy there. And the miner is again pretty much what it says on the tin. So its central thing is that it's got a pair of the much smaller external drilling units. I've put these onto planes before, although my planes aren't often very successful. So that's these. These use 8 power units per second, so the Gigantors are really excessive for it. But it produces 1.25 liters of Keyframe per second, whereas the external heavy drilling unit produces 5. So I figure if we have 4 of these miners and 2 of the converters, the power generation units, then we should have a fairly decent mining system. And just in case this actually has some tanks on the side, it can hold about 300 Keyframe, I think. And in the middle here, at the core of it, we have this thing, which is the Keyframe Electric Reactor Unit, which is a very efficient power supply. It needs Keyframe to run, so it could, if it had a supply of Keyframe to begin with, it could actually run indefinitely as long as there was Keyframe to mine it. But it doesn't actually usually do that much. But that's basically, I want to get as much Keyframe as I can, so I'm using the solar panels as the main. This does have some backup here, just so I can actually keep controlling it, because if this main section here runs out of power, the whole thing shuts down and you can't control it whatsoever, so I wouldn't be able to tell the reactor to turn on. And there's just a couple of lights so that I can tell when things have power. And that is the most awkward port I've ever added, but it functions. So I've loaded these into the sub-assembly mod, so I've got the main ones, which have little connection issues, I noted, and then these B versions, which have the battery pack and the dock part up there cut off, so I can just add them on later. So with that in mind, we now need to start building a rover to carry these. Now Now, unfortunately, because we're using a system that requires the Kerbal assembly, I keep saying assembly, Kerbal attachment system, we have to have a Kerbal around to actually hook things up, which is why there are ladders on the side there so Kerbal can climb up. We could use the electromagnet from the same system, but it's very finicky, and more often than not I've just had it attached to myself rather than what I'm trying to pick up. Let's see, shall we use that, or can we go to something a little more streamlined? Let's go with that. Seems very strange, does that? Okay, so we have the front here. Now what we're going to need... actually, we can put a stay put nick on the front of this. Just to give it a little bit of control. Now, let's see, we're going to need to have a sort of docking bay of 6 places, 6 winches specifically, where we can hang our units, our K units, if you will. So let's pick up these bars, and is there any way I can get this to tilt? Now these things are very, very stable, which is great news for us. If I hit that. There we go, that's better. Okay, so just need to get this dead center. Ideally. I don't think it's going to let us be. No. It's always very fiddly trying to get these to work properly, but... Come on. Okay, let us try a mildly different tact and use a different pod. 17 pods. The cupola module is a bit on the big side of things. They also have to ideally keep the weight down on this because the units themselves are going to be fairly heavy. Lander can. Approaching, but command pod maybe. Mark 2 lander can. No, that's huge. It's also 2.5 tons. Command pod Mark 1. Yeah, that looks nice. And crew, how many people can this hold? Just the one. Okay, well that's got a curved edge to it, so we might have a better look attaching our struts. Turn off symmetry. Jeez, things just do not want to turn upwards for us, do we? There we go, that's better. Okay, so stick that there. That gives us a bit of a point upwards, which we can then extend. These beams have a impact tolerance of 80, which is pretty much as high as it goes, short of being anything that's actually built for colliding. So we can use that quite happily. And now we need to find a way to rotate that back down or to the sides. 1 or 2 would be good. Girder segment, modular girder. Yep. Let's put in some wheels at the front here. While I'm over here. Oh, and also let's name this. So call it K Hunter 1. I will go with 1s because hey, I'm pretty sure it's going to explode. And save early, save often. Okay, so stick that there. And ooh, there's the bigger one that I probably should have used there, but oh well. Let's add some beams at the side to give us a bit of a lower profile here. And rotate that way, good. Okay, and go to utility, find our Rover wheels. Let's see, impact tolerance 150, 50, 20, 50, so yeah, these are good. Resource consumption rate 2, requires electric charge. Maximum speed is 30 per second. Smaller ones go a lot faster, but we're gonna have to stick with that. Doop. And that's the button I want. There we go. Okay, so that is the front of our K Hunter, and wow, does that look menacing, to say the least. Let's also go into utility and give ourselves a battery pack here. oops, that's gone inside of the cupola. There we go. Okay, so what else are we going to need? We could have a hitchhiker here to give our Kerbal a bit of a peace of mind, a bit of a living space, but kind of big, as you can see. Oh, that's fairly okay, because if this is the front, then we don't need to worry too much. What we are going to need eventually, though, is some kind of ladder so we can get down, because this thing is huge. What do we need? Let's go with this one. Okay, yeah. If it reaches to the level of the wheels, then we can reasonably assume that it'll find their way off it, which is good. And let's see if we can... Nope, the system's crashed. Save early, save often, and that's why. So back in a moment. Okay, and welcome back. I've managed to rebuild to just about the point where we had it before, so we can now continue, and let's go by using the huge ones here to build out our spine, so that we can get this thing actually able to carry something. It's quite a bit easier when you have something along the side. Which I think I can use this for. There we go. Okay, and is that going to move? No, it's not going to move because that's a flat surface. Dirt. Building things like this is the most irritating thing in the world. Right. Because you can do it fairly easily on the side of something, or at the point where it is trying to bend, but not so easy elsewhere. See? A bunch of angles there. But not so many over here. Well, actually, on that notion, let's just get rid... We can't get rid of that, because we'll take the wheels off. Okay, switch that to there. Switch that to that, so it's a straight line. Go. Okay, and now let's see if we can get this to work. Nope, it's not going to fit at all. Let's also save again. Oh, hang on, we had something there. Ditch that for a second. Push to that. Turn this up. Great. Can we get that? Come on. Put anywhere, but apparently not put on the point that it's actually supposed to be put onto. That's very annoying. Okay, has to be some way for us to get this to work. Gooder. Can we go to? Come on. There are people who will do this, like, with the greatest of ease, but I am not among them. Alas. No, that's still going over there. This could become a problem. What's the impact on these? Max temperature 5000, impact tolerance 80. Whereas the girders are also 80. Impact tolerance to the octagonal strut. Those are the things that hold the landing legs on the units. It's pretty low. Has to be a way that we can get some kind of surface here. Big decouplers. Conductors and separators, couplers, stack separators. Anything here we could use, or exploit rather. Doesn't really look like it. So let's keep looking through here. Might find something. Well, that'll do. We'll take it. It's wonky as all hell, but we'll take it. Okay, at least that's flat. Good. That gives us a chance to get this going. So just extend that out. Shift our cockpit along, save. And we can save that subsection, so let's go for lander there, and just call it K Hunter Wheel. And then try and reattach this. If not, we can just reload it, I suppose. Ah, perfect. Okay. Reattach that. I did say reattach. Come on, not going to? That's annoying. But we can cope for now. We can stick that. We can stick that one basically anywhere. So let's load from our lander section the wheels. Switch to that. Rotate it around so that it fits properly. Okay. And that gets us our skeleton. Nice. Okay, so let's load in one of the micros. Okay, so we need to fit 3 along this axis and then on each side. So we're going to need a bit more spine. A bit wider than that, I think. That's better. Okay. Let's shift that along a little bit. Okay, and over on this end as well. Is that going to hit the wheels? I suppose it depends how far out we put them. Okay, and one more. Let's see if we can make them equidistant and minimize the chances of them hitting each other. Okay, good. Save early, save often. If we can get rid of the center of mass, that's going to be huge either way. And let's start adding our utilities. So we need vertical stack winches on these to ensure that they do actually work. Nope, we're going to need to add a bit of structural paneling to these. This is going to let us. That's annoying. This is half of Kerbal Space Program, by the way. It's just fiddling around and getting things to work. But ooh, we are getting close to the end of an episode. Yee. Okay, I shall try and hurry this along then. Let's see ways we can fix that. Well, there is the beam here, which does a decent job. So let's put that there. Yeah, that's in between the assembly and whatnot, and see if our winch will connect to that. No, it doesn't look like it wants to. Ah, it connected for a moment there. There we go. Okay, so we need to rotate this. Rotate properly. Okay, there we go, that's better. Lock that there. Bit of an odd fishbone effect there, but it should work. Now we need a connector. Into those, good. And let's load in... Okay, well, let's attach a connector there. Not quite sure why that distant one doesn't want to connect that way. There we go. Okay, and we'll put the power pack on the bottom of that, and then we can load in the sub for our converter micros. And there we go, it has already loaded 2 of them in. And those look perfectly out of the way. I don't think we have to worry about that too much. We still need to reattach this battery. Stick it there for now. How much battery is that going to hold? 1,000. Okay, well, let's save, and we'll put this on a test launch to end the episode, shall we? Assuming it loads. And it can't. Okay, well, I'll be back in a very quick moment, and we will finish off the episode by giving the K-Hunter 1 a test run, with just the converter micros on it. Okay, back in a moment. And welcome back to this night testing of the K-Hunter 1. It's a little bit flimsy. I might need to reinforce some parts, because if I turn off the SAS, it has a tendency to shake at this end, which causes some camera issues, to say the least. But everything seems to be okay. So I'll turn off the brakes. We shall drive forward. It's very flimsy. I need to reinforce a lot of the parts. So let's put the brakes back on. I probably need to put like a couple of struts between these wheels. But if we land the legs... Okay, that's looking good. I've got Harsted over here, but he's probably not going to have to do much. And if I unplug that... and unplug that... Let's see if we can get away without breaking anything. Can we successfully launch these micros? Well, I'm not entirely positive because I can't see very well. Oh, look at that spine tingling. Okay, now... Oof, oh boy. Okay, so now let's have Harsted get out. Go on EVA. Whoa, that is a very unstable thing. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of reinforcement, isn't it? It's going to be shaking itself apart soon enough. Okay, so if you hop over here, then you can grab one of the attachers or connectors. Okay. Release that so I can grab it. Grab. Okay, and we bring you over to here. And dock. Okay, now these two should be fully functional. So let's extend the panels. They're going to hit each other. I'll be surprised if this one doesn't shatter in a moment. Of course, there isn't any sun going at the moment, so he's not going to get anything. Which is then where the Keyframe electric reactor would come in. But this is looking pretty good. So obviously I need to raise and reinforce the spine. Maybe add another set of wheels. Oh, that's hilarious. But this has been the very first section of the design process of building stuff in Kerbal Space Program. It's basically put things together, do a bit of math to get it close to right the first time, and then pray. Pray to Kerbal Jesus. But I hope you enjoyed that. I'm presently going to be at Insomnia when this video comes out, so as I said in the past couple of videos, I think stop by the meeting zone around noon, and I hope to see you there. Otherwise, catch you all next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and or favorite. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to be notified of future updates. You can also check out the website where most other content is uploaded. That's all for now. Catch you later.